Subject and director Nikolai Makarov. Photography Bravissima. In the stellar town near flies a meeting of Soviet and American space explorers was held with journalists. The topic is of common interest were the preparations of the joint Soviet-American flight according to the Souse. The commander of the American spaceship Apollo, Brigadier General Thomas Stafford, and Major General of the Aeronautic Executive and Training of Soviet Cosmonauts. They reported that the decisive stage of preparations has been passed is that the work proceeds according to the established terms. Cosmonauts Philip and Nikolaev Rudinistica will have to test in flight the modified version of the ship on use. Many scholars, designers and technicians have contributed to perfecting the ship's systems on use and the new automatic coupling group. For many times they have been tested in terrestrial conditions, and now it is important to make the last checks in space. The final phase of the tests is present. The technical director for the Soviet part of the Apollo project, Professor Konstantin, the spaceship 16 is identical to the ship that will participate in the historic experiment. The expert cosmonauts, the commander of the ship Napoli Staika, were entrusted with the demanding tests of the modified version in order on December 2, 1974. The cosmonauts have admitted themselves to their seats and are ready to launch. After placing the spacecraft 16 into orbit and neutralizing the angular velocities, the antennas and solar battery panels open. The airtight suits have been removed. The cosmonauts will only need them during the return to Earth. Nikolai Eucharistic already know the jokes of zero gravity. At the command center at the flight manager cosmonaut Andrea Nikolai, they get information and on the progress of the flight from the various observation posts scattered throughout the globe. The cosmonauts emphasized the fulfillment of the pre-established program. A normal liaison session with the cosmonauts takes place. An important task is fulfilled. The crew began the formation of the mounting orbit. which corresponds to the orbit on which the Soyuz and Apollo spacecraft will have to meet. Other no less important tests have been carried out, in particular of subsistence systems.
The crew that will have to go on mission in July and composed.
From Lililium commander and on-board engineer Valery Kubase, the two cosmonauts together with Soviet and American technicians follow the last tests of the coupling groups that will be mounted for their flight. Soviet and American designers have created in common docking groups that allow different types of spacecraft to join in orbit and allow the passage of pilots from one ship to another. These are the docking groups that will be installed on the Soyuz Apollo. In the experimental flight, the cosmonauts test the docking groups. In the present experiment, the Apollo docking group was replaced by a special ring. After the end of the test, the ring separates of the spaceship 16, imitating the disengagement of the American spacecraft Apollo. The program includes observations and scientific research. As well as medical biological experiments. The experimental flight lasted 6 days. Soon will end. The program has been fulfilled completely. The ship leaves orbit and heads towards the Earth. The landing takes place with great accuracy near the city of Gastalgan in Kazakhstan. And the helicopters of the research groups welcome to the spaceship already in art. The cosmic test is over. In the stellar town, numerous Soviet and foreign journalists examine the results of the flight. The commander of the spaceship Soyuz stated that the ship has proven to be highly secure and is ready to dock with the American spaceship Apollo. The onboard engineer Nikolay Risalto highlighting the impeccable operation of the modified systems of the ship, the onboard equipment and the docking group. In summing up the experiment, the technical director of the project SI. U.S. Apollo on the Soviet side, corresponding associate of the Academy and Sciences of the UZ Konstantin highly appreciated the work of the crew and stated that the command center and all auxiliary services have endured the difficult test.